Samar Island is the third largest island in the Philippines and has one of the most extensive forest over limestone ecosystems in the country. This ecosystem is home to a wide array of uniquely adapted flora and fauna. Samar Island is known to be one of the centers of botanical diversity in the Philippines and has been nominated as a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site for its exceptional natural beauty and precious biodiversity. For these reasons, Conserve Kaigangan, a biodiversity research program, was established. Kaigangan is a Samar local word that means forest over limestone. Our research program's mission is to assess and conserve the biodiversity in Samar Island's forest over limestone towards its sustainable management. One of our program's projects is the assessment of biodiversity and community structure in forest over limestone ecosystems. This component of our research aims to determine plant diversity and vegetation structure in various habitat types in forests over limestone, to determine animal diversity associated with forest over limestone, to identify functional classification of vegetation with its associated animal diversity, and to analyze the environmental factors influencing the prevailing structure of the biota. We conducted a comprehensive biodiversity assessment of forests over limestone in the municipalities of Paranas, Taft, and Giwan with remarkable findings. A combined total of 71 plant species were recorded from these municipalities, with at least 3 tree species classified as vulnerable based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine plants. A total of 52 terrestrial vertebrate animal species were also recorded, including 5 amphibian species, 15 reptile species, 20 bird species, and 12 mammal species, with conservation statuses ranging from threatened to endangered and critically endangered, based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine fauna. This knowledge will empower our stakeholders in these areas to make appropriate research-based conservation efforts for the protection of these ecosystems that harbor an assemblage of rare, endemic, and economically important flora and fauna. Through this program, people will be equipped with knowledge on forests over limestone biodiversity, including the ecosystem services that it can offer to the community. We at Conserve Kaigangan continue to further raise awareness and capacitate national and local government agencies, especially local communities living in and around Samar's Kaigangan.
Hello everyone, welcome to Kaigangan Biodiversity Webinar Series. In March 2022, Ms. Elaine presented about the biodiversity of forests over limestone in Samar Island Natural Park, or also known as the SINP. Her study aimed to provide information on the outcomes of the plant and animal biodiversity in SINP. Second, to describe the tree community structure in SINP. Third, to highlight the significance of the nomination of SINP as a UNESCO Natural Heritage Site. This was conducted specifically in Paranas and Taf, Eastern Samar, a province in the Philippines located in the Eastern Visayas region. Some of the highlight of the results of her study are the identification of some ecologically important amphibians, for example, the Philippine endemic Platymantis guentheri. In terms of reptiles, a very interesting one example is the Lycodon dumerillii, which exhibits a widespread distribution. And has been documented throughout the Mindanao Paig, or the Pleistocene Aggregate Island Complex. Ms. Elaine discussed also about her interesting findings on birds, for example, the Bucerus hydrocorax semigaleatus, also known as the Philippine hornbill, a large species of hornbill endemic to the Philippines. In terms of flora, she found this new island record species, for example, the Tectaria calcarea, a fern or herb species with native range in the Philippines. Overall, Ms. Elaine emphasized that SINP is indeed worthy of its nomination as a UNESCO Natural Heritage Site because of its natural and cultural significance. The following month, Ms. Ren D. Obenya successfully presented a very good study on some threatened woody plant species of forest over limestone in the Philippine Islands. The study determined the threatened woody plant species in the forest over limestone in the Philippines and discussed the threats of the forest over limestone in the country. And of course, Samar Island is one of her study sites in addition to Cebu and Batangas sites. Ms. Ren presented the list of critically endangered species based on the Philippine DAO Red List and the IUCN Red List. She also made an emphasis on economic uses of some of the identified threatened woody plant species in her study sites, for example, the Sharea nigrocensis, a Philippine endemic dipterocarp species, and our very own Tectona philippinensis with known natural populations in Batangas and in Mindoro. The third one is the Aquilaria cumingiana, a source of agarwood, a highly prized resin with many economic values. And the fourth example is the Hopea philippinensis, which is also a Philippine endemic dipterocarp species. Part of the study is the identification of threats and conservation concerns in the study site. For example, the limestone quarrying, deforestation, illegal logging, among others. Ms. Ren concluded the presentation by highlighting the potential contribution of her study to sustainable development goals. In May 2022, UPLB Assistant Professor Deza Marie Antoinette Fernandez gave us new insights into biodiversity of forest over limestone in Caloocan Island, Guiuan, Eastern Samar, Philippines. She also did biodiversity assessment in the study site for both flora and fauna. Interestingly, Assistant Professor Fernandez recorded 41 plant species belonging to 18 families, of which 5 species are Philippine endemics, 9 threatened species based on the IUCN Red List, and 5 threatened species based on the DAO 2017-11 Red List. And these are some of the photographs of the plant species she identified. Walachodendron salabicum, which is locally known as Banuyo, Aquilaria cumingiana, which is one of the agarwood-producing Aquilaria species found in the Philippines, and Hansea wenzeliana, also one of the identified endangered species based on the IUCN Red List. For fauna component, 21 vertebrate species were recorded, of which 6 are documented throughout the Mindanao Paig or the Pleistocene Aggregate Island Complex. And here are some of the photographs of the vertebrate species he recorded from the study site. Just last month, we learned a lot from UPLB Assistant Professor Marjorie de Los Angeles, who discussed about the ecology of understory plants of forest over limestone in Samar Island, Philippines. She documented plant understory species in forest over limestones and described the pattern of plant distribution with reference to ecological parameters using multivariate tools in Paranas, Taft, and Giwan, Samar. Assistant Professor Marjorie recorded 26 understory floral species divided into 21 flowering species and 6 fern species. Part of her study is to determine the species richness and diversity indices of Paranas, Taft, and Giwan. In addition, she found that the understory plant species from Paranas and Taft sites are highly affected by soil iron concentration and electrical conductivity, whereas plants from Giwan are highly associated with soil pH and other macro and micronutrients.
Ayan, good morning everyone. Welcome to our second episode of Kaigangan Biodiversity Webinar Series. I'm Leilani Masungsong and I will be your host. So before we start, let me first read some of the chats where tingnan natin kung sino yung mga naandito. So welcome po Miss Tessa from Eastern Visayas Society of Native Tree Conservation Incorporated. Welcome po sa ating webinar. Welcome din po kay Mr. Kyle Lugtu Lunaw Davao, DCNTA, Davao City Native Tree Enthusiast and Advocates. Ayan. And welcome din po kay Mr. Walter from Coborwitz, 1924 Incorporated, Puerto Princesa. Ayan, welcome po sa ating lahat and welcome po Dr. Alburo and welcome Sir Buot. Ayan, so this Kaigangan Biodiversity Webinar Series happens once or twice a month, so stay tuned to our FB page for the announcement. So I know all of us are excited, but before we begin, we want to remind everyone that this webinar is recorded, and with this, please take note of the following rules for our decorum. First, kindly keep your microphones muted, especially when our speaker is presenting. Second is, if you have questions or clarifications during the presentation, please send your questions through our chat box, and we will acknowledge the questions during our open forum. Third is the link to the evaluation form will be provided and e-certificates will be sent after completing the evaluation form. So this will serve as your proof of attendance. So please make sure that the email address you indicate is valid and correct, as it will be the basis for sending the e-certificates. So now that we have set some of our ground rules, we can start with the program. So before we call our guest speaker, let me first introduce her. So our guest speaker is Professor Tree of Cebu Technological University, Argao Campus, and is currently the Center Director of the Biodiversity, Environment, and Natural Resources Research Center of the university. She is a graduate of BS Agricultural Chemistry from the Visayas State College of Agriculture, now Visayas State University. She finished her she finished her Master of Arts in Public Administration, major in
it's not the
Public
one.
in Governance.
It's okay.
International.
Okay.
Mali po, mali ang kwan.
Hindi.
Sisig.
Nako, di rabat ako ni. Lani.
So si Juan ay si Ann, tanaw.
Sorry, under the department or DOST ASTHRDP scholarship. So she published several articles in various scientific journals, and her research interests are on agricultural chemistry, particularly natural products, environmental chemistry, and ecological policy and governance. So without further ado, let's all welcome Dr. Rosalyn Alburo to talk about breadfruit technologies for communities in forests over limestone.
Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po. I will be presenting our study on innovative breadfruit technologies for communities in forest over limestone. I am Rosalyn Pascual Alburo, and I am currently the Center Director of the Biodiversity, Environment, and Natural Resources Research Center of Cebu Technological University, Argao Campus. This will be the outline of my presentation this morning. First is who are we and why are we doing research on breadfruit? What have we been doing and what are our future directions? So the Biodiversity, Environment, and Natural Resources Research Center is one of the research centers of the university. One of our thrusts in the center is on natural resources utilization. And because of that, we look into possible sources, no? Possible sources of raw materials that we could use to for food product development, for medical purposes, and other purposes. So we look into breadfruit. I think you are familiar. Breadfruit is commonly known as, or in the Visayas and Mindanao, or Rimas in Luzon. In the South Pacific, it is commonly known as ulo, which is nearer to Arculo. So breadfruit, or Artocarpus altilis, is present in tropical areas and in the South Pacific region. It is even considered as a staple food in the South Pacific. It is a very prolific fruit-bearing tree. So it means to say, when it is a mature tree, it can give you around 100 to 200, even sometimes even more fruits per season. So usually there are 2 seasons in a year. They usually bear fruits from March to April and August to September. So why breadfruit? As I've said, other than it is underutilized, undervalued, it is also very prolific. So marami siyang bunga na pwede natin gamitin. It also has a very good nutrient content. Very healthy po yung red fruit. Number one, it's rich in vitamin A. It contains fiber. It has protein. It has low glycemic index, which means to say, maganda siya doon sa mga tao watching their sugar levels. Breadfruit also has sodium. It contains protein, calories, sugar, fat, carbs, and fiber. So, in fact, based on a study, a serving of breadfruit provides 23% of our daily potassium need. So, ganun po siya. So, ano pong gamit ng potassium? Potassium is good for nutrient transfer. It regulates heartbeats and also good for muscle control. Vitamin C, which is also present in breadfruit, of course, we know that it is good for our immune system and also lowers blood pressure. Fiber, of course, is for our dietary system. Maganda po siya doon. It also lowers or provides better blood sugar control. Magnesium, also in breadfruit, is healthy for our bones. Aside from those four, it also contains calcium, vitamin B3, phosphorus, copper, and omega. And most importantly, breadfruit contains the full spectrum of the essential amino acids. There are 9 essential amino acids and which we need to take in from our diet kasi hindi siya kayang gawin ng katawan natin. And breadfruit has the full spectrum and especially rich in phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So what have we been doing in the center? I think you're familiar. Breadfruit or kulo, we eat it, no, di ba? We harvest the mature fruit. Sometimes we just cut it and directly boil it or steam it. Then we babad natin sa sugar or we add coconut milk with sugar or latte. That's the common way that we eat breadfruit. Sometimes we also do it in chips, fry, and then coat it in latte. So basically, that's what we do also in the center. We um, harvest the mature fruit. But based on feedback kasi sa farmers that we have interacted na yung breadfruit daw nila nagba-brown when they want to process it, nagba-browning po siya. So we innovated an approach on how to maintain or how to keep the vibrant yellow or white color of the breadfruit meat. So we still peel it and then we cut it and steam. So we steam our breadfruit and then during fruiting season, we use the steamed raw meat after grating. So after steaming, we grate our breadfruit meat and we use it directly to our food products. That is during fruiting season of the breadfruit kasi marami siyang supply. But we also process flour from our breadfruit meat. So after grating the steamed meat, we dry it and mill it. Then ito na po yung aming breadfruit flour. So we use the breadfruit flour during off-season for our food products kasi pag marami kaming order and we no longer have our raw meat o yung grated steamed meat, so we use our flour. So we do R&D, we do research and development in our food product development. So we formulate products, we optimize them, and our products undergo sensory evaluation. So we present our products to the consumers also to push them for dun sa acceptability ng aming products. Aside from that, the products that we have developed, we apply them. The intellectual properties are being applied to the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines. So our products have utility models already certified by IPOPHIL. So what else do we do? We also conduct a lot of trainings to our beneficiaries, to farmers, to people's organizations, to students, to communities, to out of school youth, or anybody na interested to learn on the processing of our food products using breadfruit meat. Ganon siya. And we also join trade fairs. Mga local and national, regional trade fairs to push our products to the market. So we usually join the Lakbay Local and other trade fairs as organized by the Department of Tourism, by our provincial government. We also join the regional and the national science and technology fairs. So currently, bago lang, we were featured by the Dapat Alam Mo segment of the GMA 7 network. So this is the spread that we presented to GMA. So these are just a few of the products that we have developed in the center. We have more than 100 products developed in the center that are breadfruit based. So these are bibingka. We have around 8 variants of our bibingka. So these are all breadfruit based products. Then we have our breadfruit donut, buchi, we have our macarons, our binangkal, which we are very proud of. Our binangkal is a famous product of the center. Usually kasi yung binangkal typically it's medyo matigas, but our binangkal is crunchy on the outside and soft yung texture niya on the inside. Then we have our cookies and this is our macarons and we have our buko lupay. So it is from the product buko pie. So instead of purely buko and a flour, we use our breadfruit meat. So it adds to the texture of the filling of our buko pie. Then we have our carrot cake, we have muffins, different variants of muffins, and we also develop pasta, fettuccine pasta from our breadfruit. So on the closer picture, so this is our cassava puto. Cassava and breadfruit meat already are used in this. And then this is our macarons, our buko pie, buko lupay. And this is our fettuccine pasta with tomato sauce. We also develop breadfruit drinks. So this is our mango flavored breadfruit juice and our chocolate flavored breadfruit juice using the tablea, which Argao is famous of. And then these are maha. We also have piaya, crinkles, brazo de Mercedes, and eggnogs. We also have hopia and a lot more. We have, as I've said, we have more than 100 products already developed from breadfruit. So what our our plans in the future, or how what are our other plans. We are actually actively looking for adopters, incubators, and spin-offs. No, so those who would like to adopt or to be trained on the product development or on the processing of breadfruit-based products, we are very willing to extend that. We still do trainings and extension programs to those interested, and we are still doing research and development to develop more products from breadfruit, high value ones, more stable ones, and also mga functional food. No, so a lot still is to be done on breadfruit, and we are also actually doing other research out, activities on other undervalued, underutilized raw materials na pwede din siyang gamitin not only for food product development but for other products that could be beneficial to the community. So thank you very much for listening. These are our contact information. You can email me in this email address, or you can text or call me in this phone number. And you also could search for our page at Facebook on CTU BNRC. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Ayan, thank you very much po for that very wonderful talk, Dr. Alburo. I know our participants learned a lot from that. So welcome po to our open forum. And may I request the participants to chat in your questions in our chat box, and we will read them for you. So for now, nasan po si Ma'am Alburo? Dr. Alburo? Here is the first question po, ma'am. Ayan. Hi, ma'am. Good morning po. Ayan. Ito po yung ating first question. What could these innovative technologies for breadfruit do with our country's recent situation? And in what ways daw po it can help us? Ma'am, paki-volume lang po. Ayan, ma'am.
Ayan, can I be heard?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Clearly.
Okay, so with regards to breadfruit, if you are familiar, it's a really resilient type of non-timber forest products, no? And as I've presented, once it is already a mature tree, it could have around 100 to 200 fruits or more. So what can it help? What can this utilization of breadfruit help us? It can actually be a source of staple food, no? It is a very nutritious alternative, or it can be a nutritious main source of food later. Kasi ngayon undervalued siya, underutilized, and we have it. Nandiyan lang siya sa environment, marami siya. Minsan nga na ano lang na nasisira lang siya, nahuhulog lang yung mga ripe fruits niya, tapos hindi na siya nagagamit. So with what that's why we have innovated para magamit siya at saka maka-provide siya ng alternative livelihood sources dun sa mga communities natin.
Ayan. Thank you very much, ma'am. And follow up po, sabi dito, what is the best macro propagation method for this breadfruit?
Yes. Marami na rin kasing nagtatanong dito how could they plant breadfruit. ang hirap niya kasing i-propagate, unlike the relative niya na jackfruit at kamansi kasi they have very viable seeds. Yung breadfruit kasi if may seed man siya maliliit yung available natin na variety. So based on research, tissue culture yun talaga pinakamaigi niya, no? Pero we don't have it here yet na medyo stable na po yung tissue culture. Currently, the center is doing um R&D, establishing R&D protocols on tissue culture propagation of breadfruits. For macro propagation, currently we are doing marketing of the breadfruit runners from the roots. Yun po yung ginagawa namin.
Okay po, ma'am. Thank you po. Another question po. Ito parang naipakita nyo naman kanina na pwede talagang cake ang gawing cake, ingredients sa cake ang breadfruit. So, just to read from Miss Jacqueline Maputol, pwede po ba yung breadfruit gawing cake like instead of typical flour that we currently using? Ayan.
Yes, actually, we have made numerous pastry products from breadfruit po. Sa our binangkal, I'm not sure if you're familiar in Luzon, but that's a famous native delicacy na Visayas and Mindanao. Our binangkal is actually 100% breadfruit meat na po yung ginagamit namin.
Okay po. Yung binangkal ba, ma'am, yung medyo matigas?
Yes, matigas siya yung common, matigas siya na round with sesame seeds. Pero with the using breadfruit meat in the formulation, mas maganda po yung kanyang texture compared to the ones wherein we use our wheat flour.
Okay po, ma'am. Thank you po. Another question po is from Randy Mangubat. Good morning po. Saan po ma-avail ang saplings to plant?
Right now, we have a nursery. We are starting our macro propagation using marketed breadfruit po. But we don't have that much supply as of now kasi dito pa lang sa Cebu, ang dami nang naghahanap ng breadfruit planting material. So currently, we are providing those that are near us as of now. But we are doing extensive R&D on the tissue culture of breadfruit para kasi mas maraming maibigay or maraming mas ma-extend pag naka-tissue culture siya compared to it being macro-propagated.
Marketing. Ano po?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you po. Another question po from Tessa Ramos. Do you already have partner farmer organizations who supply breadfruit?
In Region 7, we have this consortium. I'm sure if sa DOST card po siya na consortium yung SIVA RDEC. So parang yung mga agri-consortium ng DOST card. So one of our CMIs or one of our members is Axtwell, is a non-government organization po. And they actually were a beneficiary of the Step Up program of DOST. So currently they have around 85 fruit-bearing breadfruit trees na po. But with regards to supply, if grabe na yung demand namin for raw material, they have this 85 fruit-bearing trees na po. But as of now, marami talagang mga breadfruit trees existing na dito sa Cebu lang. We have geotag the trees here. Marami siya. More than enough. Kasi yung mga normal size na breadfruit fruit, it can give you around 15 to 20 cups of the grated meat. So marami po siya. Yung kanyang recovery once steamed is very high. So hindi naman ganun masyado karami yung kailangan mo to bake.
Ayan, okay po, ma'am. Siguro po ay for our last question here in our chat box. It's from Kyle Lugtu. Good morning. How are breadfruit tree significant producers of food products in limestone environments compared to other fruit trees and crops? Are grafted seedlings most recommended for planting?
Okay. Yung breadfruit kasi ngayon, sir, dito sa Philippines, we actually really don't have that much of a plantation. So, yun lang talagang spread through our carriers like birds and other insects no na nag-spread ng breadfruit. At yung sa actual dito sa Region 7, sila yung may plantation na 85 So ang maganda sa kanya is it's actually low maintenance. Tsaka based on our initial studies, wala po siyang ganoong pest and diseases. So resilient po siya. At tsaka as when I said low maintenance, nagsusurvive po siya sa hindi siya masyadong hindi siya madaling namamatay. In fact, we were um targeted we were exposed to Typhoon Odette last 2021, yung breadfruit na trees dito sa south part and central part ng Cebu na bali siya or nasira. But as long as the main tree just do not die, ano po siya, mabubuhay siya uli. Magbra-branch out siya uli. And then this time, 3 years later, mga 2 years later, after the Typhoon Odette, ayun, namumunga na siya ulit. So, it's actually very resilient dun po sa ating pests and diseases. Yes, and I can read here that you have
Yeah.
read some books from Hawaii. Yes, there is actually a National Breadfruit Research Center in Manawa in Hawaii, which actually we plan to visit in 2022. We have an MOU with them, with the University of Hawaii in Manawa. So we would have wanted to look into their technology because they have also explored on tissue culture research for breadfruit. Because breadfruit is the plant for kumbaga it would be a stable source of food for the future considering climate change and everything kasi very resilient siya and very rich in nutrients. So maybe this year we can go to the research center in Hawaii to also benchmark on what they have been doing.
Ayan, thank you very much po ma'am for that very engaging and lively discussion about the very versatile breadfruit. Parang napakasarap po lahat ng products niya. Ganon. Mapapadala po kaya yan sa UPLB, ma'am?
We have actually been sending products po, ma'am, kasi dati si Secretary de la Peña ng DOST is favorite niya pala yung breadfruit. So every time he comes here or every time some of our people go to DOST, nagpapadala po siya.
Pang taste test, ma'am.
Yes, of course.
Yes, ma'am. So ayan, I think we covered all the questions we have with our participants. So let us proceed for the presentation of certificate for our guest speaker. So the University of the Philippines, Los Baños award this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Rosalyn P. Alburo for serving as the resource speaker during the webinar presentation entitled Innovative Breadfruit Technologies for Communities in Forest Over Limestone of the Kaigangan Biodiversity Webinar Series held on 6 May 2024 via Zoom. Signed, Inocencio Ibuat Jr., Professor and Project Leader. Ayan, thank you very much again po, Dr. Alburo. Let's give Dr. Alburo a big round of applause. Yan, heart reacts, please. Ayan, thank you so much po, ma'am. And with that, let me, ano bang tawag dito? Invite everyone again. Doon naman po tayo sa Better Half next week. So our Kaigangan Biodiversity Webinar Series will be, our guest speaker will be Dr. Hemres Alburo, a professor of Cebu Technological University, Argao campus also, to talk about community orchid culture for communities in forest over limestone. So interesting din ito, orchid naman. So magkaiba talaga yung interest nila, ma'am. Ayan, thank you very much po. Again, so before you leave, so please do not forget mag-photo off pala po muna tayo. Sorry po, pwede pong pa-open ang cam lahat ng ating participants. Ayan. So Miss Anne, sino mag-shot ba? Si Miss Anne na lang? Okay po. So smile po tayo.
Okay. So, I hope naka-open na po lahat ng videos po ng ating participants. Then, we have 2 slides. So, Smile lang po kayo kasi hindi niyo po alam kung nasan po kayong ano. Wait lang po. Okay. One more. Next slide. Smile po o kaya react lang po kayo ng react. All right. Okay, thank you very much po.
Ayan, thank you very much po again. Thank you very much po, Dr. Rose. So before
Thank you.
we leave po, yes ma'am, thank you po. Before you leave, please do not forget to scan our QR code, which will be flashed in a while, and will also be sent in our chat box for the link for the ayan. Okay. So thank you everyone again.
Thank you, Rose.
Yan
Thank
po,
you,
thank you po,
sir.
Rose.
Thank you so much, ha?
Puhon, sir. If somebody can visit,
Yeah.
we can prepare.
Pagkatapos din sa Hawaii, we can have a talk here.
Yes, sir.
And po, please scan the QR code or look in our chat box for the link to our evaluation form. So after you have finished the evaluation, we will send the certificate. Thank you po, Ma'am Rose. Nice
Thank
seeing you po.
you. Leave na po, sir.
Sige, Rose. Kumusta na lang, ha? Kumusta, Hemres?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Samar Island is the third largest island in the Philippines and has one of the most extensive forest over limestone ecosystems in the country. This ecosystem is home to a wide array of uniquely adapted flora and fauna. Samar Island is known to be one of the centers of botanical diversity in the Philippines and has been nominated as a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site for its exceptional natural beauty and precious biodiversity. For these reasons, Conserve Kaigangan, a biodiversity research program, was established. Kaigangan is a Samar local word that means forest over limestone. Our research program's mission is to assess and conserve the biodiversity in Samar Island's forest over limestone towards its sustainable management. One of our program's
Hasta sa may mga filming and video.
projects is the assessment of biodiversity and community structure in forest over limestone ecosystems. This component of our research aims to determine plant diversity and vegetation structure in various habitat types in forests over limestone, to determine animal diversity associated with forest over limestone, to identify functional classification of vegetation with its associated animal diversity, and to analyze the environmental factors influencing the prevailing structure of the biota. We conducted a comprehensive biodiversity assessment of forests over limestone in the municipalities of Paranas, Taft, and Giwan with remarkable findings. A combined total of 71 plant species were recorded from these municipalities, with at least 3 tree species classified as vulnerable based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine plants. A total of 52 terrestrial vertebrate animal species were also recorded, including 5 amphibian species, 15 reptile species, 20 bird species, and 12 mammal species, with conservation statuses ranging from threatened to endangered and critically endangered, based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine fauna. This knowledge will empower our stakeholders in these areas to make appropriate research-based conservation efforts for the protection of these ecosystems that harbor an assemblage of rare endemic, and economically important flora and fauna. Through this program, people will be equipped with knowledge on forest over limestone biodiversity, including the ecosystem services that it can offer to the community. We at Conserve Kaigangan continue to further raise awareness and capacitate national and local government agencies, especially local communities living in and around Samars Kaigangan.